I have a general rule in business. Never fully rely on something that you can't control, because if you're building an entire business on top of a stool that's been built by someone else, you have no control over what happens when a leg of that stool goes out. Diversity is key, and when it comes to NFTs, that idea is no different. And for that reason and so many others, creating a multi-chain NFT is vital to your NFT's success. So today, we're going to talk all about what a multi-chain NFT is and why you'd even want to go multi-chain in the first place. My name is Trent Kennelly. I'm a Web3 marketing strategist, and this is the best place for you to learn about Web3, NFTs, AI, and how to market it all. So that sounds good to you and you're excited. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment to let me know what chain you're on and how you'd like to spread your wings if you had the chance to. I would love to know a little bit more about your situation, but until then, let's get started. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, the description is kind of in the name itself. It's a multi-chain NFT, a multi-chain or cross-chain NFT. It's one of those things that's designed to be usable across multiple blockchains, multi-chain, right? So instead of picking just Bitcoin ordinals or just ERC 1155, both of which you can learn more about in this video, you can build an NFT that can work on either. It's really as simple as that. Now, it's worth pointing out that even though that may sound simple, it comes with a lot of complexities because every blockchain is different, which means it comes with different standards and requires different code to implement. So for instance, let's just look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin and see how they're different. So you can check this video for a lot of detail, but generally speaking, while the end result might be the same, meaning the NFT is the same or the utilities are the same or something like that, the underlying way of achieving that goal is very different. Ethereum requires the use of a coding language called Solidity. This is a language specific to the Ethereum blockchain, and you have to know it to deploy smart contracts, which are the foundation for running anything through Ethereum. Bitcoin, on the other hand, requires Sapio. So this is kind of a similar concept, except that Ordinals completely ignores the idea of smart contracts almost completely, which we talked about in one of those videos I referenced earlier. And that's just two chains, those two different languages with two totally different ways of implementing. If you also want to make it possible for your NFT to work on Arbitrum or Polygon or Avalanche or Solana or any other blockchain out there, you have to develop integrations for your NFT to work on all of them individually. Then you need to develop bridging protocols. That is to say that you need to develop communication methods for the chains to talk to each other about your NFT. This is incredibly complicated, which raises the question, why would you bother trying to do this? I mean, is it even worth it to put all this work in? And I'm going to go ahead and answer that for you right now. Unequivocally, yes. But all the same, let's go through a few purely business-related reasons why, so that you can see that this is going to pay off in the end. First, we're talking about access and scale. When any business starts out, especially in a digital environment, they have to figure out how to get buyers or visitors or whatever KPI it is that's going to make them money. What that traditionally means in digital marketing is that business owners are going to try to spread their reach as far and wide as possible to get those buyers flowing in. So someone might create an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook page, though today, why would you bother with that? A subreddit, a TikTok if you love China listening in, an email list, paid ads, and on and on and on. Those are all single points of access that create an overall brand. And you can do that over the decentralized web as well. Absolutely. But keep in mind that we're talking about the decentralized web here. That isn't to say that people don't use these more centralized sources. Of course they do, but they also use decentralized ones. And decentralized users, like all humans, tend to stick to a smaller number of sources. They don't want to get overwhelmed, paradox of choice and all that stuff. And this is where it's important to remember that decentralized can also sometimes mean compartmentalized. People get stuck in their own little echo chambers and don't communicate with the world outside. You can learn more about that in this video that dives deeper into decentralized social media. So if you're trying to find your audience of people who want to buy your NFT or whatever it is that you're offering through that NFT, and you're only on one network, you've already severely limited yourself. The target audience is spread across blockchains. I absolutely guarantee it. So allowing your NFT to exist wherever your user wants is absolutely key. Another reason you want to do this is marketing flexibility. So as much as I just told you that your market is spread across these different blockchains, it's also fair to say that each chain has its own characteristics, and those characteristics attracted a certain subset of your target for some reason or another, which means that your target audience is both homogenous and extremely diverse. And if you want to adapt to that reality, then it's in your best interest to incentivize the user of a different blockchain in a different way. Which, if you think about it, adds some really cool possibilities to your NFT. What if you could run Bitcoin giveaways on the Bitcoin chain, and better utility on BNB, and changeable traits on Ethereum, or literally anything else that you can think of to entice users to your side? This would also mean that any NFT that was bridged or transferred from one chain to another would have their utility changed as well. So you're providing even more freedom of choice, and you're giving that choice right inside the NFT from the very start. You're baking it in. Just think about it like Coke selling soda in different countries. They know they need to change the flavor depending on the country, because culture and food have left people feeling differently about the formula depending on where you are. Some countries like Mexico use cane sugar. Others, like the United States, use high fructose corn syrup. It's because they're adapting the product to the people who are using it based on culture or a lot of other factors. Likewise, your NFT is a product that's going to be purchased by people across the world. They have different habits, cultural considerations, and will buy for different reasons, but they might not buy at all if they can't get it on their chain of choice. So this is a really good reason to build cross-chain. And then final big point, future-proofing. And look, none of us want to hear this, but there is every possibility that one or more of these blockchains could completely fail. And as attached as you might feel to the blockchain that you love the most, you ultimately have no idea how this is going to play out. It's not always the small players that flame out, and it's not always something that's going to happen right away. It could be 10 years before something like this happens, which is going to be very important for your decision-making process. Just look at Enron. I mean, up until the minute that they announced their bankruptcy, people looked at that company as the perfect capitalist machine. It was making money hand over fist, and it seemed like nothing could go wrong. And people were absolutely blown away when Enron crashed almost overnight, only to find out later that the systems that Enron had developed were not only fraudulent, but a small subset of their own employees were eating the company alive. There's a fantastic documentary on this. You should absolutely watch it to get a better sense of this. I'll put a link to the IMDb page in the comments. But the point is that this could happen on any one of these blockchains as well. And yeah, you might be scoffing considering that these are decentralized blockchains. But what if all of a sudden we suddenly discovered that Vitalik Buterin put a backdoor in Ethereum's base code that allowed him to skim a single way off of every transaction that happens on his network? Obviously, I'm making this allegation up out of thin air. I have no basis for it at all. It's not even an allegation. But if it ended up being true, that would absolutely destroy the Ethereum blockchain, which means that not only Ethereum itself, but every Ethereum created token, DAI, WETH, USDC, you name it, there are hundreds of them, and every single NFT on the chain would drop to a $0 value overnight. Billions would be lost. Now, I think it's safe to say that none of us really think that's going to happen, but the point is that you never know. And if your NFTs are stuck on Ethereum, if that were to happen, I would not want to be you. But if you're multi-chain, you're hedging against that possibility. As unlikely as it is that Ethereum and Vitalik are taking us all for a ride, it's nearly impossible that the entire blockchain ecosystem is going to crash and burn. So staying safe is really important. And one more thing before we bail out on this video here, I know I'm going to get asked this question. How do you implement this thing? But I'm sorry, beyond what we've already gone through earlier in this video about adaptation, there isn't any technical guidance that I'm going to give you. Because quite honestly, I'm not the guy you want educating you on how to code. I'm a marketer, right? So what should you do in this case? You should hire somebody. That's my advice. Yes, it can be expensive, but unless you know how to code in all these different languages, it's going to be very, very hard to make this happen, and it's going to be very inefficient. Hire someone who specializes. So there you go. Multi-chain NFTs are going to help this space so much, but more importantly, they're going to help your business find the success it needs through your NFT launch. So let me know what chains you'd want to find yourself on if you had this possibility, and what challenge you are facing. I would absolutely love to help. Otherwise, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I will catch you in the next one.